school rebranding. Now, the brand is ultimately what people think about your school. Now, whether you know it or not, your school has a brand already. It already has a brand. The question is, did you create that brand and reputation with intention? Or is that just the word on the streets from 10 years ago, or just because it's by default? You see, we can either design a brand or we can have our school can be branded by default. Design or default. Most schools, oftentimes we miss these types of opportunities in controlling what people think about us. You have an opportunity right now as you're thinking about restarting and re-envisioning the new normal, right? We're using that term a lot, the new normal. Here we have an opportunity to re-envision the word on the streets, the reputation of our school. So when it comes to school rebranding, the question is, what do you want people to think about or remember about your school? I'll be honest with you. I told you that several of the schools that we have been working with are Title I schools, and they are in low-income communities. For the schools that are also failing, those schools have a brand. And I'll tell you that it sounds something like this. You ask the children, about their school. They're like, yeah, we're at the ghetto school. Have you heard that before? Yeah, we're at the hood school. Have you heard that before? I see the nods. I know you're nodding, right? Yeah. The hood school, the ghetto school. I cannot tell you how many schools that we've served across this country that if we go to the students, they will tell us what people think about them or remember about them. Now, the sad thing is they also think that about themselves as well. The teachers that serve these schools start to internalize those thoughts and ideas about themselves. And of course, the parents. So if you're not intentional about your brand, if you're not designing the brand of your school, the experience that people have at your school, then it's being designed by default, right? And if you're in one of these communities that I'm describing, especially at a failing school, then chances are you're at that bad school, that hood school, that ghetto school. You have an opportunity right now to consider, how can I rebrand my school, change the reputation of my school so that when people think about it, they don't think ghetto, hood, bad, and all those other adjectives that I just used. They think of something that you've planted the seed in their mind with. It's called school rebranding. And I'll share some examples actually of how we've done that with some schools, because again, it's something that it's been very popular with the administrators that we've served. But again, it's very important that you understand how school rebranding in particular and all the other items that I mentioned impact your school's climate and culture. The saddest thing that we've seen is the impact of organizational climate on morale. I said this to you earlier. When a school has a negative brand or reputation, the people that work within it begin to internalize that. And that's what you want to stop. You have the power to control this. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, schools tend not to understand this perspective and utilize this perspective because they're dealing with so many of those common daily challenges that I mentioned earlier.